I spoke about Susu, and I mentioned a few more of the characters, women, and a few men who have influenced my life. And I may not speak about each character in the details that I just did for Susu, because I mean, you're talking about over 1,000 people, that's 1,000 programs already. So rather, I would do more general themes. And in between, I will drop a character when I feel so motivated to do. People like Cayenne. How can you do a Calibishie Chronicle program and not feature Cayenne in that now? Clive Davis. And I can give you the entire description of the mansion that he built. That was the biggest house in Calibishie by far. Cayenne was a very wealthy man because he had land and he worked hard. Anyway, I wanted to talk about my first trip to Roseau when I was supposed to go to town for my first communion shopping. That was the first time I went to Roseau. The other times my grandfather and sometimes my mother, but mostly my grandfather, would go to town and he would measure my foot with a piece of rope, a red rope, the banana fig rope. Or sometimes he would use a cloth, piece of fabric. He would put a knot where my toe starts and he would put a knot where my heel ends. So that's how he measured my foot to buy my little shoes for me. So the first time I was going to go to Roseau, my grandfather did not have to measure because I was going to be there to try the shoes. And when we go, and I'll tell you about trying the shoes in Roseau, you know, even if it's squeezing, you want it because you really want your shoes. Anyway, let's backtrack. So going to Roseau for the first time for me was an adventure. They used to call us country bookie, and that's for good reasons, you know, boy, because it is an interesting thing to go to the city as a country boy. So the day before, the night before the day that I was supposed to have gone, I cannot sleep. I stayed up all night, literally watching the roof and peeping through the crevice of the window, because you know you had holes through your little window, the boards. You had little crevices, holes, so you could see light protruding through. So you knew when daybreak, because you seen a little light outside. So I looked through all night until the first cock crow, and then the second cock, and then the third cock. Back in the day, cocks only crow at night. Well, Friday morning. So at 2 o'clock, you hear. At 3 o'clock, you hear another one, that is second cock. And at about 4:30, you hear the third cock. And to me, at every instance, the crowing gets louder. Because that's how we timed ourselves to get up to go to, well, not for school. We wouldn't get up that early for school. Sometimes we got up that early to go to donkey race, to garden. But that was on the second cock or the third cock, not the first cock. Daddy would be up, my grandfather would be up on the first cock, getting ready. But the children would be, like second cock, we up and we get ready to go to second or third cock, to go to donkey race. Anyway, so the cock crow, we got up, got ready, heading to Roseau. Zayo truck was the truck taking us to town. Well, that's the first truck I went to Roseau with, on. So the truck went down, we heard the vibration, zoom, 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 drove down. It must have gone down like Viaduct side, go down DJ and somewhere maybe Savant Pie. I don't know wherever it went. And the truck came back up 20 minutes after. Papa Bonji Zayo stopped. So we entered the truck about 4:30, not later than 4:30 a.m. And in those days, the trucks did not drive to Roseau via Portsmouth. It is only late in my days I went to Roseau through Portsmouth, you know. You went to Portsmouth if you had to go to Portsmouth. And I had to go to Portsmouth a few times. But Portsmouth was our zone where we go to. Portsmouth was like a little Roseau. So we go to Portsmouth for Portsmouth, we go to Roseau for Roseau, but we pass Marigot side to go Roseau. The vehicle never actually went up into the village of Woodford Hill. It passed around last 30, go down Walks, Wesley, through Marigot, Debois, and so we left Calibishie that day at about 4:30. And we got to Roseau at about 8 o'clock, 10 to 8. So about 3.5, almost 4 hours steady driving. The truck would only stop maybe once or twice for people to relieve their bowels. Well, that sometimes to urinate. And that was it. So I remember the first time I touched down in the city. I mean, can you imagine a big truck parked at the bridge area, but close to the river, of people from the country and people who debatches are your truck, who have no shoes, who have razard, who have labo on their foot. I mean, it was just a real invasion of the city when the country folks came down, and I was part of that, looking up to the sky because I seen tall buildings and telephone posts with lights on it and stuff like that. People moving around, a lot of people walking. I mean, this was like New York City to me, coming from Calibishie. So the alias that was tagged on us as country bookie, it was a bit vicious but well placed, because boy, to travel from the country to come to the city was an adventure. Being in the city was another adventure, which I won't share with you because it's not about Calibishie. I only tell you about the Calibishie experience in the stories. We will speak about the Roseau experience at some other time. And that was my first trip to Roseau. I may, get into more details in the next episode, but let's leave it there for now until another time.